Hi there, everyone. This is Luke Fleming. I'm here for VC, Violin Channel Living Room Live, broadcasting from New Orleans, Louisiana. I'm going to be playing some viola for you today and taking some questions and talking a bit about my experience since this whole COVID-19 outbreak as a performing artist. It's really nice to see people here with us today. I'm going to wait for just a few people to join before I start playing. And talk about myself after that. I want to start out just playing some music. I'm going to be playing some Bach today mostly, but then I'm going to close with the meditation from Thais by Jules Massenet. It should be a nice little program. I'll be answering questions in real time in between pieces, so if you come up with any questions you want to ask, just type them into the comments there, and I will address them in between pieces if I can. I'm going to go ahead and start by playing some music. I'm going to start with the Gigue from Bach's, J.S. Bach's third suite for solo cello, played on the viola, of course. Thanks again, everyone, for joining today. Thanks for those of you who've just joined in since I started. Nice to see a few of you on here. My name's Luke Fleming, violist, broadcasting from New Orleans, Louisiana. And actually, I live in New York City most of the time, but when this outbreak started, I decided that I wanted to get out of New York for one thing, and also I wanted to be with my family who's down here in New Orleans. And so I actually came down here about 3 weeks ago, and I've been here since. I'm actually in my mother's house right now, and she's been very kind. She's back in the back bedroom instead, so you don't see her walking around the background and everything. But she's letting me do this today, and I appreciate it. And it's really nice to be on there, even though it's hot, as you can tell. It's very, even in just April, it's already very hot in New Orleans. So anyway, I'm looking to see if I have any questions yet. It doesn't look yet. Okay, so I want to talk to you about the next couple of things I'm going to be playing. What you just heard was the Gigue from Bach's Third Suite for solo cello. I'm going to play some more Bach. And, one of the things that this COVID-19 crisis, I think, has gotten a lot of musicians to do is we've had some time to, those of us who are administrators too, I direct the Manhattan Chamber Players, and I also have a festival down here called the Crescent City Chamber Music Festival. And some days seems like I'm spending the whole day in front of the computer or in rehearsal, and it's hard to find time just one-on-one with my viola, which I'm sure some of you listening have experienced before. But all this time we have here during this crisis has allowed me to have a little more time with my viola. And what I've done, what I'm sure some of you have done, is taken some time to reapproach some pieces that I haven't looked at in a long time. I've been looking at some pieces that I haven't looked at since I was an undergrad, or pieces I've been scared to look at because of maybe a bad experience I had playing them or something like that. I'll talk about that in a minute. But of course, there are no musicians in my family, and I'm down here alone, so I'm used to playing chamber music, but there's not a lot of options for that, so a lot of solo playing, and so Bach is an obvious place to go for that. And so I've been looking at a lot of movements from the suites that I haven't looked at in a long time, as I said. And I've been thinking about how, each suite really has its own kind of very distinct characteristics, and I feel, at least right now, and I'll probably change my mind in a year, but that the movement from each of these suites that kind of encapsulates the work as a whole, the most to me, is the Allemand, which I know sounds strange because you're thinking the prelude probably is the one if you're a musician, but the Allemands are in some ways the most representative of the characters of the piece as a whole. For one thing, 4 of them begin the same way with this little ta-da figure, this, and the other 2 don't, but still, there's that. But also, they contrast so greatly, and they're all positioned second. So they're the first of the dance movements, because the first is a prelude. So the first suite, which I'd say overall is a very optimistic, hopeful kind of piece. You've got this. Now, forgive me, I just decided I was going to do this today, so I'm kind of recalling these from memory, but I think that's how it goes. And then, the second suite is a complete about face. The other end of it, second suite is so tragic and desperate almost. And the Allemand begins with that ta-da, but it's totally different context. You got and then the third suite, again, totally different. Third suite is so friendly and so sunny and approachable. I just got the Allemand from that one. And then the fourth suite, which is probably the least often played, has got this spaciousness to it. It's majestic, the key of E flat even, helps suggest that. So the Allemand is... And then the fifth suite, again, completely different, as stormy and intense, perhaps the most angular of all the Allemands. You got this... And then finally, the sixth suite is overall, very pastoral and bucolic, almost lazy sounding. You think of like shepherds in the field. And the Allemand has such a timeless quality to it, almost as if Bach has written in the embellishments because he has the time to do it. This... So what I'm going to do for you now is play two of the Allemands. I don't have time to play all of them, obviously, but I'm going to play the Allemands, two of the most contrasting ones, I think. The first one from the second suite, and then the next thing I'll play is the Allemande from the sixth suite. So this is the Allemande from Bach's second solo suite for cello. That was the Allemande from the second suite by J.S. Bach. In a minute, I'm going to play the Allemande from the sixth suite, so you get the idea of this contrast that exists between these analogous movements in the suites. First, I just want to tell a quick little story about the Allemande of the sixth suite. If there are any cellists watching, they're going to notice that I'm going to be playing this Allemande in the wrong key. I'll be playing it in G major instead of B major. The suite is originally written for a 5-string instrument, and of course the viola doesn't have 5 strings. Neither does the cello, and cellos are very courageous and use thumb position and play it in D major, but we violists generally play it in G major, and so it's a 5th down. And I played this movement, the Allemande from the 6th suite, for my audition for Marlborough Music School and Festival, and David Sawyer, when he was still alive, was tells you how old I am, was on the jury and on the audition panel, and I got to this part in it. It's supposed to be this big da 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 open C when it's in D major, but on the viola, of course, you have, because you're doing it a 5th lower, i.e. a 4th higher. So anyway, I fingered the F, and David Sawyer stops me in the audition. It's like, it's wrong, it's supposed to be an open string, what are you doing? And I could not recover after that. He scared the bejesus out of me anyway, and that was particularly scary. And it was just the rest of the audition was awful. Thankfully, I still got to go to Marlborough, but I have never played the piece since then because I'm so scared of it for that reason. So I'm going to try it out today, and hope you enjoy the Allemande from the 6th Suite by J.S. Bach. thank you. That was the Allemande from the 6th Suite for Solo Cello by J.S. Bach. I want to take a moment to talk about the ways that you can support me and other performing artists right now. As many of you are aware, performing artists have no means of income at the moment, for the most part, unless they're some of the lucky few that are on a salaried income. We make all our money playing concerts for people, and there's no concerts to play right now. Just today, I found out about a really nice gig. Gig I was getting paid about $3,000 for got canceled. It was a festival this summer, and this kind of thing's happening every day, and with no real end in sight with this COVID-19 thing. So supporting the arts in general, supporting artists like me, but like so many other people, is a culture we really want to foster. I know the Violin Channel is doing a lot to do that. My own organization, the Manhattan Chamber Players, is doing that as well. Manhattan Chamber Players is a chamber music collective made up of 22 really wonderful instrumentalists. You can check out our website at manhattanchamberplayers.com. But what we're doing right now is all the donations we receive, we're a 501c3, rather than going to our self-presented concerts or to our season or anything like that, it's going straight to the artists as an even split. And a lot of organizations are doing that right now to help out artists in need. And so you can donate to my chosen charity, Manhattan Chamber Players, with the donate button on this live stream. And of course, I also have my Venmo information there if you want to tip me as well. That's wonderful. I appreciate it. Either way, I'll be very grateful and appreciate it very much. I'm going to take a moment right now to answer any questions that might have popped up. I've got one here. So much Bach. Any favorites? Well, the movement I just played is definitely one of my faves. I'd say my favorite suite as a whole is the 5th Suite, and I love playing it scordatura, where you tune the A down to a G. That's super fun. I didn't do it today because going back and forth with the tuning is really tricky and it doesn't stick. But I also really love the sarabande from the 4th Suite. Just gorgeous, gorgeous movement. Let's see what else we've got. Okay. How do I decide where to embellish? Almost never embellish on the first time. Most of these things, as anyone who plays them knows the sections are repeated. The first section and the second section are each repeated. So the first time through, I almost never embellish. The second time, I usually will on the dance movements 2 through 6 in each suite. The Allemande that I just played barely needs it, though. Bach seems to write in his own embellishments for that, but of course, it's a lot easier to embellish in slow movements because there's more time than in fast movements. But in that particular slow movement I just played, there's no need, really. Let's see what else we've got. Okay, that's for questions for me. I do appreciate y'all tuning in and listening today. I've got one more section to play, and then I'll answer any more questions that pop up and kind of close things out here. I'm gonna try to finish right at 1:30 if I can. So this is we're gonna get out of the Bach mode now. This is the meditation from Thais. To all the cellists out there, I apologize. I've been stealing your Bach suites all day, and all the violinists, I apologize. I'm stealing one of your little slow showpieces now. It's originally for violin. I'm going to play it in the wrong key, in G major, a 5th lower. On the violin, it's in D major. And it's a beautiful interlude from Jules Massenet's opera Thais. And of course, normally I would have a piano accompaniment, but I don't. I'm sorry about that. Not much I can do about it. Has a particular significance to me. It was my grandmother's favorite piece to hear, and she always wanted me to play it. And she died about 7 or 8 years ago, but I got to see her, thankfully, just a couple of days before she died, and she had me play this for her, and it just has retained a real special meaning for me. So this is Jules Massenet's Meditation from Thais. very much for all those of you who know this piece. I know there's another little segment, a little tag at the end there, but I thought it was nice to end on that harmonic. Hopefully you agreed. I'm going to look and see if I have any more questions. That was Massenet's meditation from Thais. I have a question. Where did I purchase my viola? The maker is a woman named Carleen Hutchins. She died in 2009. It's made in 1993, the viola. She lived to the age of 98, so I guess she made my viola when she was in her mid-70s. She's a New Jersey-based maker, and she's not a maker that many people know about nowadays, but if you ask anyone kind of a couple of generations older, like my teacher Samuel Rhodes or any of those people, they all know who Carleen Hutchins was. She was one of the first people to really make good modern instruments back before that was really a thing. And it's a big one. It's a 17.5-inch viola. I don't know what that is in centimeters, but it's hard to really tell with these terrible microphones and live streaming kind of quality, but it's got a very big boomy sound, a tenor kind of quality to it. But I bought it in New York in a violin shop, but it's New Jersey maker. Let's see. What kind of microphone am I using? I'm using this. It's the only one I could find at the store. I actually got it at Walmart. It's the only thing that's open around here. And it's fine. It's better than using my computer microphone, that's for sure. But it's certainly not great. But hopefully you still enjoyed it. What are my views on playing Bach a little more in time versus quite free? Well, I was always taught to, when I was learning a movement of Bach, to play it with a metronome and to not even experiment with playing it without one until I could play it perfectly with the metronome. And then I could take away the metronome and be a little freer if I wanted to. But the idea was, through the teacher that I had, in this case Samuel Rhodes, that I first was able to play it absolutely in time and then could take liberties where it was warranted. Sometimes people do play Bach so freely that it's hard to get a sense of it being a dance or having any kind of pulse, particularly that Allemande from the 6th Suite that I played. Let's see, what else we've got here. Viola size, I already said, is 17.5 inches. And let's see. Okay, no more questions, but thank you. I'm a little over time now, but I'm going to finish up. Thank you so much for listening today. My name is Luke Fleming. I'm Artistic Director of the Manhattan Chamber Players, and Violist too. I was formerly the violist of the Attacca Quartet back from 2009 to 2015. Some of you may know of that ensemble. And it's been my pleasure to play for you on VC Live today. Please support me either through the Venmo link in the description or through my chosen charity, Manhattan Chamber Players. There's a donate button there. That money will go straight to the musicians in the Manhattan Chamber Players who are struggling right now. And please, whether or not you support me or Manhattan Chamber Players, continue to support the performing arts and performing artists that are struggling right now. Thank you to the channel for being such an advocate for doing this and for putting all this music out there. And it's been great to be with you today. Thank you for tuning in. Bye-bye.